Why Indonesia gets Japan's destroyer and Manila doesn't? After months of hearsay here and there, we finally got concrete developments. Japan and Indonesia agreed to begin working-level discussions on the possible transfer of used Asagiri-class destroyers. But while Indonesia potentially will get one of Japan's most capable warships of its time, the Philippines will quote-unquote only get a smaller destroyer escort. What are the reasons Japan arms Indonesia and the Philippines differently? Let's find out in today's video. Talks about the Asagiri class transfer to Indonesia were agreed when defense ministers from both nations met in Tokyo last week. Indonesia is eager to materialize defense equipment and technology cooperation, including the transfer of the Asagiri class destroyers. And the two sides agreed to discuss training, maintenance, and operational support through a working-level framework established last month. Similarly, just a month earlier, Japan and the Philippines defense officials also agreed to establish a bilateral working group to explore the transfer of GMSDF vessels, particularly the Abukuma-class destroyer escort. While no details have been disclosed regarding ship numbers, financing structures, modernization package, or transfer schedules, the negotiation with Indonesia and the Philippines already represents one of Japan's most consequential naval diplomacy initiatives since revising its defense export framework. Japan's push to transfer retired warships to Indonesia and the Philippines signals Tokyo's rise as a proactive security leader in the Indo-Pacific. Enabled by the landmark April 2026 defense export reforms, which relax decades-old restrictions on exporting lethal hardware, Japan is effectively converting its surplus maritime fleet into immediate strategic leverage to reinforce regional deterrence and security partnerships. Japanese policymakers increasingly recognize that maritime security fragmentation across Southeast Asia creates vulnerabilities easily exploited by coercive external naval powers. Consequently, these retired maritime assets function not merely as surplus platforms, but as strategic force multipliers engineered to project Japan's aligned maritime surveillance and anti-submarine capabilities deep into Southeast Asian theaters. Furthermore, transferring retired ships allows Tokyo to completely bypass the political backlash of exporting modern warships abroad. For Indonesia and the Philippines, absorbing the Asagiri and Abukuma classes is a pragmatic stopgap. These extra hulls allows Jakarta and Manila to plug critical capability gaps while both nations wait for their next-gen warship programs to deliver later this decade. So why, despite Tokyo's push to become a major regional player and knowing how fragile Southeast Asian security is Japan proposing light ships to Manila but heavy destroyers to Indonesia? Rest assured, this is not a case of preferential treatment. Rather, Tokyo is carefully tailoring its naval cooperation to the exact need of its partners based strictly on their geographic positions and budgetary realities. The Asagiri class is the oldest destroyer class still in active GMSDF service. Born under the late Cold War 8-to-8 fleet doctrine, 8 ships were commissioned between 1988 and 1991. Designed primarily for anti-submarine warfare, they serve as the backbone of Japan's escort fleet, hunting Soviet submarines across the Western Pacific. Measuring 137 meters long and displacing roughly 4,900 tons fully loaded, these warships are built for speed. Powered by 4 gas turbines in Koga configuration, they deliver a blistering 30 knots, essential for rapid interception across vast oceans. Each ship carries a crew of 220 and features a dedicated flight deck and hangar for medium-sized helicopters. To track threats, the Asagiri relies on OPS-24 and OPS-28 radars for air and surface surveillance, backed by hull-mounted and towed array sonars. When it comes to firepower, it packed with a 76mm main gun, 2 Phalanx Seaweeds, 8 Harpoon missiles, a Sea Sparrow launcher, dual triple torpedo tubes, and an Astrok launchers for long-range undersea denial. Built during the same late Cold War window, the Abukuma class is a legendary workhorse famous for its reliability in both sub-hunting and surface warfare. At 109 meter long and displacing 2,500 tons fully loaded, it operates with a highly efficient Kodok propulsion that pushes the ship to 27 knots. The smaller footprint allows for a smaller complement of 120 personnel, complemented by an open flight deck. For situational awareness, the Abukuma relies on OPS-14 and OPS-28 radars for air and surface detection, paired with an OQS-8 hull-mounted sonar to scan the depth. Its weapon suite includes a 76mm main gun, 1 Phalanx Seawish, 8 Harpoon missiles, dual triple torpedo launchers, and an Astroc launcher. On paper, both classes share a strikingly similar baseline with a 76mm main gun, Harpoon, Astrocs, and torpedoes. But these ships were built for completely different weight classes, and the real divide lies in air defense and aviation. Let's look at the Abukuma. It carries a single phalanx for last resort defense, but completely lacks surface-to-air missiles. It also has no helicopter hangar, meaning it's forced to hunt submarines using only its own onboard sensors. By contrast, the Asagiri features an 8-cell Sea Sparrow missile launchers, 2 phalanx systems, and a full hangar facility. This gives the Asagiri a superior air defense, longer scouting range, and deadlier sub-hunting capability, making it a more capable multi-role combatant. The final piece of the puzzle is under the hood. The two classes use completely different propulsion systems. The Abukuma's Kodok setup gives it incredible fuel economy at cruising speeds, making it the perfect budget-friendly choice for coastal patrols. Conversely, the Asagiri's all-gas turbine Kogak setup prioritizes sustained power and high speed, aligning with its open ocean destroyer profile. The difference in scale extends directly to operational costs. With a lean crew of just 120 sailors, the Abukuma is way cheaper to operate and maintain than the Asagiri, which demands a massive complement of 220 personnel. For the Philippine Navy, the Abukuma class is a perfect match. Manila's main challenge lies in the shallow, high-friction waters of the West Philippine Sea, facing off against Chinese Coast Guard and maritime militia vessels. In these gray zone standoffs, surface presence and decent sub-hunting tools matter most, while advanced air defense takes a backseat. With its smaller size, low operating costs, and lean crew requirements, the Abukuma is incredibly easy to integrate. Now, some in Manila might dream of the larger Asagiri, but the Philippine Navy has spent years building its fleet around modern Korean platforms. Introducing a massive used Japanese destroyer will completely disrupt that logistical rhythm, complicating training and maintenance. Indonesia's requirement, however, is completely different. As the largest archipelagic nation, Jakarta must police vast oceanic corridors, including the critical Malacca and Sunda Straits and the volatile North Natuna Sea. These deep water missions demand serious endurance, wide surveillance coverage, and major operational flexibility. That is where the Asagiri shines. Unlike Manila, Jakarta has a track record of handling heavy surface combatants and is even building its own right now. For Indonesia, taming these massive Japanese destroyers is still manageable. Ultimately, these transfers show that Japan is mastering the art of tailored defense export. Instead of pushing a one-size-fits-all platform, Tokyo is strategically matching its available warships to the unique operational needs and budgets of its partners. This isn't favoritism, it's calculated geopolitics. The Abukuma transfer is designed to immediately strengthen frontline deterrence in the West Philippine Sea. Meanwhile, the Asagiri reinforces Indonesia's status as a leading maritime power in Southeast Asia. Together, this deal have become a vital geopolitical tool, allowing Tokyo to reshape Indo-Pacific security and expand its diplomatic footprint across the region. What do you think of Japan's proposal of the Asagiri and Abukuma classes to Indonesia and the Philippines? Should Manila also get the destroyers? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching everyone. I'll see you in the next one.